You know, it's crazy to me how used how used I am to those freaking games, those endings. You know, it didn't have to be that close, man. It didn't have to be that close. And it's like in a game where obviously the refs had so much to do with it. It's like it. I just hate that we got so many penalties in our favor at the end of the game because then that makes it seem like this was some side of like this was some sort of like evenly called game. No, bro. Yo, there's 3 touchdowns that we just missed out on basically because of the refs. I don't even know how to feel about this game. Like, I just kind of feel empty because like Dak played well. Dak played well. I don't know what we could do differently to just for sure beat these guys. I think their offensive line, their offense, I think their offense has a bigger edge in our defense than our offense does on their defense. I think CeeDee Lamb balled out, but like there's a lot of things I expect when we play the Eagles. I know CeeDee's going to have a good game because he always does versus Philly. I know Dak's going to play well because he always plays well versus Philly. The problem is when the defense is it's still just getting we had some stops, but they're still just getting suffocated a little bit. And it's like we're not getting off the field when we need to get off the field. I don't even know, man, what to say about this game. Like this is one of those games where I unfortunately have to say it was a good game. Like it was a good game, dude. But there is a play I want to complain about. Why are we going to Jalen Tolbert in that situation? Why? Why are we going to Jalen Tolbert? I can understand looking off the CD, but Jake Ferguson was wide open. You know how I can try to maybe show how open this is? Jake Ferguson, let me show you my phone. I got to do this I got to do this the broke way because I don't have the technology at the moment to pull this up. But I don't know if you guys are able to see this or not. I circled it. Let me see. Let me turn this light off for a second. So it's gonna be a little more visible. That did not help at all. But you get the point, man. Jake Ferguson, go look at the play to Tolbert. Jake Ferguson dusts his guy at the line of scrimmage, and he gets wide open on the seam route. He probably would have still been running. Still been running. Micah should have had that fumble recovery. I'm sorry. Micah should have had that fumble recovery, and it would have saved us like 20 seconds. I mean, we ended up getting down there anyways because of the penalties. But Micah should have had that fumble recovery. I don't know how to feel about this one, man. I don't know how to feel about this one. I can't sit here and be excited. Like, Dak always plays well against Philly, you know? When we play them again, it's like I can't be confident in anything for certain because our defense couldn't really hang with them. Like our defense, it could, but it couldn't. You know, it could, but it couldn't. We need to figure something out about Terrence Steele. He's not worth the money. I'm sorry, he's not worth the money. You can't get beat that many times by the same move. By the same move. And that little jump chop that Reddick is doing, he's telegraphing it. You can see he's about to do it. Oh my gosh, he's getting killed by it. And then defensive linemen talk now. Defensive linemen, when they notice a move works on an offensive lineman, they're on the sidelines like, yo, so what'd you do versus this guy? What'd you do versus this guy? I already know. Reddick's on the sideline like, yo, Graham, hit him with the jump chop. So Graham goes, hits him with the jump chop, gets a hold of Dak in the worst situation possible. I'm so used to these types of games being Dak's fault, and it's not his fault this time. So I'm really like lost. Like, are we just not good enough to beat them? I'm sorry, but if we have Trevon Diggs, we're beating these guys. I think we can all, after watching that game, I think everybody can sit back and agree that if we have Diggs, we're winning that game because Devontae Smith is not getting that touchdown like that in the first half, and I think that he's doing his best job. Bland's doing a great job, but there's a difference when there's a guy that'll get turnovers for you. And like for instance, when Hurts threw the ball deep to AJ in the back of the end zone, like 50 yards, and it was incomplete. I think Diggs is catching that ball. Like I think Diggs is coming down with that interception, which would have been huge. Man, I think we need that game. It was so tense. I can't even really remember like what happened. Like I hit play on this as soon as the game ended, and the last 5 minutes of the game just like completely changed my perspective. Like we really got that close, and CD didn't get it. Like we got down to the 10-yard line. We gotta punch it in. We have to punch it in. We have to punch it in. We can't call plays to Schoonmaker on the goal line. Like, come on. I don't even know if I can make this a long one. This is a straight emotional response. like as a Cowboy hater, when you sit back and watch this, like what can you tease us about? Like, I'm so lost with this game. I don't even know like what the different perspectives are. Like, I don't know the perspective of somebody. Like, I really have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know what the perspective is of somebody who was rooting against us, who didn't think we could win the game. I feel like we convinced a lot of people that we could have beat them because you're watching the game like, come on, ref. The pass interference on Gilmore. So actually, let's go back because there were some penalties that extended their drives that gave them a touchdown where they should not have had. Gilmore did not PI that guy. Are we serious? The ball is way up here. It was going out of bounds, and the ref throws a flag. And then the last drive, they're like, okay, we're going to get hammered a little too hard for this one, so let's run it up. What about Micah getting held when Hurts was scrambling? You know how many games as Cowboy fans we sit back and can just like pinpoint? They're not just penalties. I know every game is missed calls, but we have missed calls that directly cost us games. A team like Philadelphia, if it's third down and they have an incomplete and you give them a PI like that, like they gave AJ Brown on Gilmore, if you give a team like the Eagles that penalty, they're going to score on that drive. Like, that's just how momentum works in Philly. Like, oh, gosh, man. We should have won that game. Dak played well enough to win. CD balled out. Pollard is not the same without Zeke. We need another running back. I like Dowdle. He fights hard. I'm surprised he hasn't had like a big fumble or anything because he likes to like keep fighting how Dez used to. But I like Dowdle. I mean, Micah got there. I do need to see Micah dominate the Eagles. I haven't seen Micah dominate the Eagles yet. There's penalties, man. Penalties. Like, I can always blame it on penalties, but these penalties, like, they didn't always seem like penalties. Like, but there were penalties that looked like penalties. Hankins, I was looking at him from here. I'm watching his hand. I'm like, he's a little close. And then, like, it was about third time they finally got him. The hands to the face that they took away. We could have scored off that one because we didn't end up getting any points on that drive. Crazy. But what's crazier about it is that all the real Cowboy fans who have been here, this feels like another one of those. Like, we have 2 or 3 of these a year where it's like we show that we can do it and we show that we can hang with these guys and we show we should have won. But then we lost. Like, and no matter whether it's the ref's fault, it ends up being our quarterback's fault, the coach's fault. There's always a reason. Even when we got down the field and got close to scoring, Boom, you had to get a false start. And on the replay, Tyler Smith moved when the ball was hiked. He moved when the ball was hiked. I don't even think that was a false start. Refs need to be held accountable. Refs are not held accountable enough. Like, refs, they don't have the same way players have penalties and we get punished or they get punished for mistakes and, like, they get fined after games for things. Refs need to pay a price because if there's no penalty for a ref, no pun intended, if there's no penalty for a ref for bad calls or picking flags up that should have been flags, what's stopping them from doing it? Like, what is really stopping them? I mean, there's a penalty if they're betting on games, but there's not a penalty. There's no, like, they don't get fined for bad calls. If a ref was worried about getting fined for a bad call, I promise you we'd have a lot less terrible calls in the league. And the Cowboys would have won that game. But I gotta head back. I gotta head back to Vegas. I gotta head back home to college, my dorm. I'm glad I didn't put as much time into it this week. I usually will sit and I will watch. I'll watch videos all week long about these big games, and I'll do all this stuff, and I'll base all my whole happiness on it. But I've had a little bit of a tough week, so I haven't really been doing that too much. The Cowboys have honestly not been the biggest of my worries. But with that being said, this is still no good. This is still no good. And this is not going to sit well with me on the car ride home. It's another one of those games where it's like they could have won, but they lost. And it's like, that just seems like the story of our lives as Cowboy fans. But I'm going to try to get some content out this week. I think we got next to Giants or somebody. We don't care about any games until we play the Eagles again, honestly. I don't care about any more games. Hopefully the 49ers keep losing and we can lock in on Philly, because unlike the 49ers, we obviously showed promise of being able to beat Philly. And I think we've already known we could beat Philly. And I think Philly in the back of their minds feels like they just escaped that one. Like they just got a little lucky, you know? But that's all right. I think next time we play the Eagles, we can't have a 3-and-out. We're going to have the ball first. I think them scoring first and then getting the ball at halftime is definitely what separated the game. And our offense couldn't get going in the whole second half. So I think we need to get out to a better start. Even though we started hot, we need to come out with at least three. At least three. But I'll check in with you guys soon. Please like and subscribe if you like the video. I'm here with you guys. We'll mourn together. It's another one of those. Just like Denver when Romo threw for 5 touchdowns, you know, I got that feeling right now. And it's going to hurt. Zay Talks out.